roughly around 2019, I started having back pain, and what had happened was that I was just kind of doing the thing where you go on YouTube to educate yourself about what this is and why you're having it, and trying to remedy it yourself. And so I was going online searching for various terms around how to alleviate back pain. This is prior to my diagnosis in 2022. What I was doing was just trying to basically work out what my symptoms were, and then search for YouTube videos that would help me alleviate those symptoms, and trying to do sort of a work backwards plan against what I was experiencing, which is a very slow, arduous, and not very productive journey.
And that's how you found our videos, the Unity Gym videos?
Yeah, I don't think you actually make use of the word spondylolisthesis in any of the specific videos, but I just did a keyword search term, and I think in a transcript somewhere, the YouTube algorithm sort of found you.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So what was the problem that you were having? To tell me about your symptoms and about what you were like. Where were you when you found us?
Yeah, so I started having back pain like in 2019. I was always super active, and like I tried doing CrossFit, and then stopped doing that because it hurt. And then I was basically trying to do sort of a weightlifting regimen on my own, and trying to ego lift, and trying to put more weight on the bar. But it was never really disciplined or structured, and I didn't have any specific goals. I was just going to show up, 2 to 3 times a week, doing the best I could, and then come back home. And I was always not making any real progress. I was just doing it to do it. And then once I started having really bad back pain about 3 years ago, I had a super bad flare up. I couldn't get off the bed or the couch for a week or two, which was super tough because I had a baby at home at the time, and not being able to be present for like an infant and a toddler is kind of the worst. And so I spent a bunch of money on physical therapy and doctors and imaging. And once I found out that I had fractured my spine at L5S1, literally broken my back, and got sort of this big diagnosis of spondy, I started really researching, doing the thing that nerds do, which is really researching these things and trying to figure out what's what, and trying to alleviate the symptoms as best I could, without really any sort of coaching or feedback or guidance.
Yeah, right. And how? So that was the worst of that your pain was. It got like it was stopping you from being able to move around. Was that? How did that relate to what did that do to your ability to lift weights in the gym and to do things like that?
So the flare up that I'd had in 2022, which literally just put me down for 2+ weeks, like it just deconditioned me. Like I was afraid of moving my body so much from that specific incident that I just let myself get deconditioned over the course of the last couple of years. And so, once you're unable to do the things you really need to do because you've got this diagnosis, you sort of start to be afraid of movement. And for me, as much as I would try to do physical therapy and try to work through basic movements, it never really got better. And so there's this psychological aspect to back pain where you have no ability to draw the line between what's actually causing the pain with a single activity, and you're constantly living in fear because you just don't want to lose access to your body again. And so there's this really weird psychological aspect to back pain. So in that particular case, I was down for 2 weeks, and it was so afraid of exacerbating things that I was doing very, very basic physical therapy. Because I was a new dad, I couldn't really keep consistent with it, and so I would have setbacks over and over again, without really having a system to build on top of, or really any feedback, despite doing physical therapy, and sort of we all know how challenging it can be to work with a less than optimal physical therapist.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember when you started with us that your communication with me was that you were really afraid of doing any kind of barbell squatting or barbell deadlifting because you were afraid that that was going to make your back worse. Can you touch on that a little bit, please?
Yeah, so I was never really confident with any sort of movement that was like a bend over movement or a loaded movement on top of my body. Um, like a squat or a deadlift. It would always feel really awkward and hurt even before I got injured. And so, and because I wasn't really disciplined about it or consistent about it, I wasn't really building any sort of capacity. So I would go on YouTube and learn about, the proper technique for doing a deadlift, and lo and behold, I'd injure myself again. And when we started together, I think I was doing 2 5 pound dumbbells, trying to do a deadlift with 2 5 pound dumbbells, and I just did not have the capacity to even do that. And now I'm doing, I'm actually putting serious weight on a barbell for the first time in a really, really long time, over 10 years. And it feels really good to be able to be confident in your body and have the capacity to do things, but then also to build on that, know that you could build on that capacity. Like you've adapted the tissues. I've adapted the tissues, and I can do stuff with my body that I can build on top of, and I know that that it's going to get even stronger and stronger because I've built that foundation through the UMS coaching system.
And what do you think it was that took you from, if we go back to that point when you started with me, because I remember this really well. I remember the conversations that I had to have with you to put confidence in you that this wasn't actually going to make you worse, that by using progressive overload and understanding load management, that it would be the thing that would make you better, and that deadlifting and squatting was actually going to be one of the things that would fix you. Can you talk me through that process for you? What do you think it was from coming to that point in the UMS where you were saying, I don't think I can deadlift rad, it always makes me worse, to getting to this point now where you're deadlifting with some really big weight? Talk me through that process.
Yeah, I think it's really hard when you have the psychological aspects of back pain to trust somebody. And I think you actually mentioned this to me not too long ago in a call. Um, it's not my job to challenge the teachings. My job is to pick the teacher. And once I pick that teacher, I need to work with that teacher to work through whatever my goals and challenges are. And so I had to take a leap of faith. And part of it was actually desperation. I was so disabled, for lack of a better term, with the fracture in my spine and the shift in my vertebra, that I was looking down the barrel of a really long road to recovery with a spinal fusion. And at some point, the risks of deadlifting are actually pretty low compared to a surgeon going into your spine, inserting hardware, screws, and basically bone cement to make your spine resilient from an orthopedic perspective. And so I figured, okay, what's the worst that could happen? I effectively experience, marginally more pain. And lo and behold, I think the lessons that you taught around load management, progressive overload, and just adapting the tissues over time, taking it really slow, being disciplined, being consistent, were the things that I needed to see as evidence. But it wasn't without any sort of setbacks. I did have situations where I was like, oh my gosh, what is this guy doing? He's adding more weight to my deadlift when I'm already feeling tight and achy and painful. And so at some point I had to just work harder. And I think one of the things that we did was like the 20-minute mobility routine. Every time I would feel achy and sore after a workout, just doing some soft tissue massage, mobilization, working on mobility of the joints, doing that 2 to 3 times a week uh, feels great. And it's not something you would expect, that just moving your body around, this aphorism of motion is lotion. You would not expect that that would work, um, but it does. It really does.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, what results have you experienced since working with me, since joining the UMS?
I think at a most basic level, I have evidence that I can do stuff with my body. Like I was just in the garden lifting heavy stuff and hunching over and moving my body in ways that I haven't been able to do in over 5 years. So just having the evidence that I can do stuff with my body is a huge thing for somebody who's basically had chronic back pain for a really long time. And then just from a not being able being able to go from not being able to pick up anything off the ground and being deathly afraid of squats and deadlifts, I can put real weight on a bar. And that's kind of huge for me because I know that I have the capacity to build on top of that. And part of my goals, which is which what we talked about, is never being in a situation where the load that I need to put my body through is beyond its capacity. So whether that's a 20-mile hike, or whether that's working in the garden, all day, or being able to lift up my kid and do fun things, that I'm never beyond my capacity because I'm working hard through the UMS system to build that capacity. And so ultimately, the goals that I have from here are really to just build on the foundation that we built together and be able to do all the fun things that I see you doing in the videos, which is like doing backflips and lifting heavy weights, and being able to play with your kid and be able to go on vacation for a week without worrying about whether you're going to be sore or throw out your back or do something that's going to injure you, because you've worked diligently in a disciplined, consistent way to build that capacity over time.
Brilliant. And what would you say to somebody who is considering joining the UMS, who has chronic back pain, spondylolisthesis, fractured spine, things like that, and who is at that start of that journey that you're at, where it just sounds like a magic pill and it sounds too good to be true? What would you say to that person?
I think you have a choice. It really just comes down to a choice. You can live with pain, or you can live with your plateaus, or whatever challenges you're facing with your injury or not being able to achieve your goals. But if you're on the fence about joining and you have goals, the UMS system is a place where you can bring sort of a little bit of consistency and willingness, and the entire community, not just you, not just Yanni, but the entire community will help you build on top of that to achieve your goals. Um, and I think if you're on the fence because you're stubborn and you think you could do it yourself, um, I think the thing to be open to is feedback that somebody might know something you don't. And I think that's part of something that comes with age. Um, when life gives you these challenges, it's important to get the right coaches and get the right feedback and mentors and facilitators. Having a team who's advocating for your goals and is constantly looking at what you're doing and trying to help you achieve those goals, that is the critical unlock. That's what the UMS system does. And I think, to some degree, you're kind of revolutionizing the industry with sort of this asynchronous video-based feedback, because it's highly specialized to me and my goals. And part of the thing I was really skeptical of was, how could somebody look at a video of me for seconds and be able to pinpoint exactly what I need to do to get to the next level. And I think the UMS does that not just by being able to work with expert coaches, but also being able to leverage what other people are experiencing in the community to help understand, oh yeah, I'm experiencing something similar. An example of this is my workouts were taking really a long time, and being able to be like, what are you doing in that hour and a half that you can't do in 60 minutes? And it really just came down to a simple bit of feedback, like, are you conditioned? Is your cardiovascular system conditioned to go do this? And then thinking more about achieving a higher volume rather than thinking about it from the perspective of, can you make it fit? But rather, there's parts of your foundation you still need to work on. And so, we were able to work through some of the challenges that had nothing to do with pain or goal management. It was just, hey, I have constraints. I'm a dad. I'm busy. I work. I have all these things that are going on. Being able to get this kind of feedback as well is something that you can't do by searching on YouTube for videos. You really do need a live coach, a coach who's there for you and can help you sort of figure out what's working and what's not working within your system and within your constraints and within your goals.
That's brilliant. I love that. And the last thing that I want to ask you is, for a lot of people that are sitting on the fence to join something like online coaching, what we've identified, the three biggest apprehensions that people have is, number one, is online coaching actually going to be effective? Is working with somebody online that I never meet face to face, are they going to be able to get me to where I want better or as good as somebody face to face? Number two is, am I going to be able to manage the time commitment that's required for this? I'm so busy already. I don't know if this is going to fit into my life. And number three is the financial investment. Is it worth me spending this money, or am I just going to waste it? Do you feel that any one or multiple of those things played a factor for you in joining the UMS?
I think the thing that I don't think there was anything I had to lose at this point. I had spent so much money on physical therapists and doctors and gear, and the financial aspect of joining the UMS was not a real inhibitor. I think what I was really looking for was, is this going to work? Is it going to solve my problems? And ultimately, the biggest issue was my own stubbornness. I'm used to going at things alone. I'm used to figuring things out by myself. I think I'm, for better or for worse, I have, I do need to work on being more humble. And I think the fact that this system exists where you can get feedback on all the things that you need to improve on uh, is huge. Like it is a wealth of knowledge and it is a wealth of expertise, and it is not something you can get by searching on YouTube or something that's online. It is part of the thing that I think people should consider when they're on the fence about joining the UMS is that you don't know your blind spots. You literally have a part of your head that you cannot see, and you don't know your blind spots. There are parts of your body that you cannot see while you're working out, and you don't know your blind spots. And I think you have to, at some point, trust that somebody else can see what you're doing and help you improve and help you achieve your goals. And if that's not something you're willing to do, either online or in person, then you really need to interrogate whether you're going to be able to achieve all the things you want to achieve. And yeah, I think that's a huge part of establishing trust within a system like this. Is you really do have to figure out what's getting in the way of you achieving your goals. And part of that is just the inner work. I think part of the magic is in the process. So one of the things that you do is you take a video of what I'm doing. Like you ask, part of the investment in the UMS is you are investing the time while you're doing your sets and reps to record yourself. The intended goal with those recordings is to help you improve your technique and to keep you accountable for how you're doing the exercises and how much you're doing the exercises. The thing that I wasn't aware of was that you were going to be very specific about the way I'm recording the video and what I'm doing in those videos to help me achieve my goal. So, one of the things that you coach, to give you a specific example, one of the things that you did was you said, hey, when you're doing your deadlift, just the angle of your knees and the timing of how your knees are getting locked out when you do your deadlift, just do it a little bit sooner and it'll help you engage your glutes more, right? That's something you told me, I think it was a month and a half ago. That's part of the magic is I didn't know I was doing that. That was part of my blind spot in doing the deadlift. That was part of the reasons why I was getting injured was because I wasn't engaging my glutes soon enough because I wasn't locking my knees out early enough. And having that type of specificity to like, hey, I know I have a glute imbalance, I have a structural imbalance, I have a weakness here, and I have a weakness here. Just getting a very specific hint at what my blind spots were in that moment is huge. So what I would just ask you to consider is go and record that process and put it in the public and be like, oh yeah, there's somebody who's highly skilled in and has got tons of experience, is invested in helping people achieve these goals. What does it actually look like to go from, hey, I'm really struggling with getting more engagement in this motion, deadlift, for example, and do a before of like, hey, this is what it looks like when somebody isn't doing optimal movement and optimal technique, and then give them that cue. And then what happens after? Well, they start adding 20 more pounds to the bar and they can actually do more weight and they have a foundation to build on top of because they've built that proper technique. I understand that that's a huge benefit of what you guys do, but I'm not sure it's out there. And if I had seen that, it would have been an easy decision. Oh yeah, there's somebody who had improper technique. Because they had improper technique, they were getting injured, and because it could be any number of reasons, that were any blockers that were getting in their way, and giving them a cue that helped them see their blind spot, that could help them get to the next level because you saw something that they didn't, is a huge benefit of what you guys do. In addition to the community and all these other things, is a huge benefit. And I wonder if that feature of what you do is out there. And I would encourage you to really highlight that. And part of the reason why you're doing these testimonials is because people see the benefit, but and they see it before and after. But I wonder if showing those two snapshots in time will really make it click for people that this is what you actually get. This is one of the huge benefits that you get with the UMS.